So I think we're finally ready to take this on a little test drive today. Y'all ready? Here we go. Hello.
Hello, babes.
Hello, babes.
It's been in the garage long enough, it could use a bath.
Yeah, I thought I might give it a little wipe down when we get back.
It's
It's a little dusty.
yeah, it's a little dusty. That'll happen when you're waiting on parts forever.
Yeah. Well, I think we finally got it.
I hope so. We're gonna take her for a little test drive here and find out.
So you want to recap for them? This has been
an adventure. To say the least, the very least, this was an adventure. Let's see. Recap the whole thing. It came in for a rear main seal, but then when the owner got here, it wouldn't restart. Couldn't get it to, restart when it was hot. It would always start when it was cold, but a hot restart just wouldn't happen. So we got it in the garage, took the rear main seal out of it. It was so loose I actually pulled it out with my fingers. That's how slap wore out it was. Well, we tried the little Sneaky Pete tool, and the little Sneaky Pete tool, all the marketing they had, they lied.
We're giving it a thumbs down.
Yeah, it's getting Sneaky Pete's getting a thumbs down. Says you can change your rear main seal without removing the crankshaft. That is definitely a lie if you're working on one of these trucks. On something else, maybe it does work on something else, but on this, no, it did not even attempt to work. What we finally had to do was get the old school Chinese finger toy to pull the rope seal through. Once we did that, it went in. And then
if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it.
Yeah. And then it was so tight that the crank wouldn't turn. I mean, like, real tight. Wasn't even gonna consider turning. So we basically, I took the bottom end of the motor off again and did the no-no thing that you're never ever supposed to do. I spun the engine over with the starter without the main caps on it. And that's a no-no, you're never supposed to do that. But I did it anyway, and the crank spun. So I put the main cap back on it, and I didn't torque the main cap, hit the starter again, spun it again, and when I did it that time, it still spun. So I was like, okay, let's torque it down this time. So we torqued the main cap, and lo and behold, the motor spins. And so far, knock on wood, the main cap the rear main seal isn't leaking.
Hooray! I'm cheering.
Oh yeah, well, I'm cheering too. But, so, the starting problem was twofold. It was two problems. The heat riser on the engine was rusted in the heat position. On these engines, you have the choke here, which you've seen me start it with before, and it also had a heat riser that stopped off the exhaust pipe and forced the hot air up on the intake to warm the intake so that you could get it running faster in a colder climate. Well, the heat riser had a thermal spring on it that was supposed to turn. Whenever you got it warm, it would open up and allow the exhaust gases to go on out the exhaust pipe away from the heat. Well, at some point, many, many moons ago, the spring fell off and it rusted in place. And it was rusted in the closed position, so it was heating the intake at all times. So we had the intake when the owner came to the house. I got a little infrared gun, put it on it. It was 338 degrees on the intake, and the engine block was 168. So I knew I had to start looking there for something. Well, just the heat riser wasn't enough to cause the starting problems it was having. It didn't help it none. I didn't help boiling the gas out. But we found the battery cable, which is under Angie's feet. The negative cable was this tiny little, smaller than my pinky finger, tiny little cable that had gotten hot enough it was pulling out of the top post of the battery. The little terminal, little squeeze terminal on the battery, the cable was pulling out. It'd been hot enough that it was coming apart. So we went and got a new battery cable that's like a 1/0 cable, about the size of my thumb, and put that on the ground directly to the starter, and then put another ground to the chassis so that we could maybe help some of these hot starting problems. Because that was the two main things. He wanted to be able to drive the truck after he'd cut the key off, which is, hey, probably a pretty cool feature.
That's a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus to be able to start the truck again.
We've been there on the hot start issue.
Oh yeah,
that's never fun. Clear my way.
And he wanted to not leave a trail of oil like the Exxon Valdez everywhere he went. Because everywhere you parked this truck, it would leave a puddle of oil that big. No matter how long you had it parked there, it was going to put a puddle. So, but anyway, so if you've watched all the episodes and you've seen everything we've done to this truck started, we did brakes, gas tanks, you know, we've done all kinds of stuff to this truck. Now we went through rear main seal. So I want everybody to comment. If you're watching it, if you've made it this far on the video, comment on what you would do to this truck next. If this truck was yours, if it magically showed up at your house, title was in your name, what would you do to this truck next? What would be your next thing you're going to do? So leave a comment below. Write in, you know, anything, any wild idea you got. Let's hear what it is.
We love reading the comments.
Yeah, but I want to see what everybody's plan would be for this truck next. We've been slowly chipping away all the little things on it. So, what would be the plan for Old Red next? So far, oh, I forgot to say, the oil pressure. I cleaned the pickup screen in the oil pan. It was completely stopped off.
It was gross.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. So you have to go back and watch that video. They had like an inch deep of sludge in the tank. I mean, in the oil pan.
Yeah.
But when I cleaned it, well, of course, it's going to get better oil pressure, going to get easier to get oil. It's not having to starve so hard for oil. Well, we fired the truck up, thought everything was good, thought we were all doing great, looked under the truck and oil was going everywhere. This truck has a additional oil filter on the outside of the engine. Back then it was a dealer option to add an oil filter. These motors didn't come with an oil filter, you know, to begin with. So, and the Napa number on the oil filter is 1100. So 1100 is the oil filter if you ever have to look for one. It took us a little bit to find it. But yeah, it blew. It had so much oil pressure after that it blew the oil line under the truck and was hosing down everything while it was running. They're trying to pass me. I'm trying to turn in. They're trying to pass. You pull in to stop, and morons try to pass you. Okay. But yeah, so it had much more oil pressure and blew the line. Of course, the line wasn't made of much material. After 74 years, she was pretty done. But so we have made it. Let's see, we have about a half a tank of gas. We don't have a pack of cigarettes, and we're wearing sunglasses. We can make it to Chicago. Only the older crowd will know what that movie is. But I think that was a successful test drive.
Yep.
So now we can call the owner and have him come pick up his truck, and he's still got the whole summer to go riding.
That's right.
So, all right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. And please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. And click the little bell so you get notifications when there's new videos. And, like I say, put you a comment below what you would do. And, as we end all our videos, thank you, Lord. Thank you for today.